How's it going, everyone? We're here to check out the top skins for this next week. If you're new and don't know what this is, it doesn't mean these skins are in-game or that they ever will be. These are just skins that were submitted to the workshop simply for this week. Starting off with the video, I always jump into my personal top 10 picks, and then after that we jump into all the other skins that have been submitted. So starting off, we've got the Superstar set by Y9J. And as you can see, it's like this sequins disco hoodie pants set, and just the detail to it is insane. They did a really good job at really making this. I love the disco ball, hoodie ball, hoodie hoodie ball. Yeah, yep, makes sense. But it's just one of those really kind of cool things that I think makes it unique. And the colors, you know, it shines, but it's not super bright either. So that kind of has that going on as well. Next up, we've got the Cobalt Large Backpack for you. As you can see, it starts out with some blue straps, and then it goes into some cobalt colors as you got that white and blue with the red. And then you've got this kind of shiny little backpack patch back here with the big old blue cobalt space center patch and the red strappings. So there we have it. Always cool to have something match with a theme, and it's just a very clean looking backpack. Next, we have probably one of the most creative backpacks that I've seen so far. It's going to be the Retro Console Backpack. And it comes in two versions, glowing and not glowing. And as you can see, it starts out with these little straps, and it has some wires and wire clips. And then when you come around, the whole thing looks like an old kind of Game Boy console kind of thing. There's even a crack. You can see the motherboard underneath. And yeah, you got Ruster, which is just really, really fun. And if you go ahead and look at the glow version, it's the screen and the light that lights up on it. Definitely quite fun and extremely creative. Alright, next up we've got the Tier 1 Toolbox. And yeah, as you can see, it's just a really nice representation of the Tier 1 bench made into a little box. All sorts of little details the more you look at it. Just really, really well done. Moving on, we have a nice icy furnace as we're well moving into the, I would say, icy, snowy, cold time for most people here, as it should be winter. But cracked ice furnace is the proper name for this. I like that it has some like iron welding around it, and the rest of it just looks like it's made out of this like ice crystal that somehow withstands the fire within. Moving along, we have a nice little door for you. It is the vintage door, and it has two versions, one with and without transparency. Transparency is a little crack down here, which isn't too much, but hey, every little bit like that does count. And it just has a really nice sculpt to it and fits with the theme and kind of era feel of Rust. Then over here we have ourselves a very shiny chrome door, the protector sheet metal door. This also has two versions with a glow or transparency. Transparency is going to be through the rebar here at the top, and that is, you know, it's not too easy to see through, but you can see a bit. So there's that. Then if we go ahead and kill our lights, alright, and there you can see it even has a bit of a shine even at night. Nice little lamps there at the top. Moving along, we have a cool little glow going on with this, and it looks like there's something going on there with the face. It almost looks like a bit of a jack-o'-lantern or something. But I don't know what it is. One way or another, it's creepy, and I like it. Then when we come over to this furnace, you'd expect this big icy glow, but instead the whole thing just heats up with the inferno within it, which I think is very, very cool. Alright, next up we have ourselves a cool rock for you, and it is the Acorn Rock by Saudenzer. And as you can see, it just really looks like a giant acorn. They did a good job working with the weird shape of the rock to still kind of give it that very believable look to it. Did well in the cap, and the leaves themselves do look like they are separate and not just kind of painted on, which is a nice little job. Then moving on, we have some cool looking tools for you. These are the Piercer tools, and as you can see, they have this kind of really handmade look to them. There's staples and hand-shined, you know, metal. You've got metal wire and freshly varnished wood, but it, you know, it has scratches and everything. And I think it just really fits well with the game. Of course, you have to have a matching pick to go along with it. Then moving on to our last of our top 10 here, we've got ourselves the Caution Sap. As you can see, it is part of the Caution set. It's an old set, but it's always been a good one. Lots of details, very rusty, and, you know, it just appeals to a lot of people. Bright colors, but still scrappy looking, you know, with the blue tape there and everything. Aiming down the sides, you do have a nice red tip, and you have that kind of biohazard sign. And there we go for our reload. So that's going to do it for our top, well, my personal top 10. And let's go ahead and take a look at all the other awesome skins submitted this week. Alright, next up, starting out with our clothing, we've got Mr. Turtle Jr., the Boonie hat. And this one almost made the top 10 just because of how stupidly cute it is. But yeah, there it is. The Turtle Jr. hat. I could see a lot of people loving this for the same reason they love all the stupid little goofy things that make it into this game. Next we have a Boonie and bandana combo. It's the Inquisitor set, and the Inquisitor set comes in two colors, a black and a red version. So we got the red hat for you to look at, and the black bandana to match with it. And honestly, mix matching looks pretty good. Next we have a kind of uncommon one for you, but it is the Raven boots. And if you look down, it actually makes the feet kind of look like bird claws. And then it has all the little feathers and other adornments and so forth going on around it. Definitely a very kind of creative look for the hide shoes. Definitely love the detail done on the bird claws. Next we have a continuation with the Stella Golem set with the gloves and boots. And with the gloves we've got the default color, which is this kind of like red, as you can see. And then at the bottom we've got the blue, which is the Azure version. Then we've got a single set of road sign gloves for you as a continuation in the white holographic set. As you can see, they're very junky and put together like they are just really cobbled together from all sorts of scrap metal. Very much so fits into rust. And then you've got that hollow part on the actual fabric here on the side, and then coming in through the metal edges, which I think is a really cool design. Next up we have a continuation with the Ultramarine set with the road sign armor, complete with a little heart, as some people either like or don't like it. It is there to stay, it looks like, as the accepted set has it. And as you can see, it's just everything you would expect translated onto the road sign armor. Next we have the sneakerhead armor, and I guess the whole thing's supposed to look like rubber and stuff salvaged from old sneakers. And yeah, I think you can kind of see that, definitely with the patterning and so forth. It's a very unique idea, and wow, it really matches up with the color of the wetsuit's rubber very well. That's just kind of crazy. But there it is. It's quite a unique idea. How do you guys feel about that? We do have one more new backpack for you here, and this one is another kind of hazmat themed one. It's the Large Hazy backpack by Pretex. And there we have it. This one definitely looks more kind of survival, kind of cobbled together, like the little cobalt button, and then you've got some little duct tape and so forth. Lots of little hazmat backpacks, or large hazmat backpacks here, I should say. And I'm very curious, which one do you guys like so far from combining the ones from last week with this one? Alright, moving on to our deployables, we have the Arctic sleeping bag for you, and it has a little Peak Sporting Goods Cobalt Expeditionary Force. Definitely just one of those things that is really fitting into the game. Has a nice little cozy nice little cozy ring around the edge of fuzz and fur for you, and some straps. Very just rust looking. Moving on, we have a animal cage wooden storage box for you. Has two different versions, one that's transparent and isn't. Definitely love the transparency of the wire from the cage. Then we have ourselves another creative little box, the small rechargeable battery. It's a simple idea, but it really just kind of looks like a battery sitting there until you give it a closer look. Moving on to our large boxes, we have the Logic cubes up for you first. Then moving on, we have the ambulance car. And lastly, we have the Moi Treasure large box. It also comes in two different versions. There's a charred version as well. Always have the alts in the list, which is down in my video description. Then over here we've got the Force Raiders Furnace. There's two versions. This is the transparent one, which just kind of goes with the rest of the set. And it just has such a crazy unique look to it. I think a lot of people would really love it. Then over here we've got a version 2 of the Grape Furnace. It is the Symphony of Grape Furnace version 2, to be specific. They changed up the purples and blues for more reds and pinks, as you'll see. Then over here we have a continuation with the furnaces or rebar furnaces with the metal labeled furnace. Then over here we have ourselves the Otherworldly Furnace by JJ. Kind of has a little bit of like a bismuth crystal kind of thing going on. Then over here, last but not least, we have a Crucible Furnace by Multi-Hat. Creepy arms there on the back. Moving on, we have a Cement Barricade that looks like a shrub by Legacy. Definitely very cool idea. I could see a lot of people loving. Then with the Nuclear Storage set, we now have a Locker skin. Moving on, we've got the Green Area Rug for you. Greening area, sorry. And the Toxic Rug, which is kind of just like a slime you can toss on up. Moving on to our doors, we've got our very artistic door. This almost made the top 10 as well because of just how beautiful it is. This is the Meta Flower wooden door. Check out both sides there. Just so beautifully sculpted. Then over here we have another wooden door, the Wolf Warrior. Followed by the Guard Dog wooden door. So you see there is some little bit of transparency going on there. And the Iron Fang wooden door. And Chalk Menace double wooden door. Got some rock, paper, scissors going on. Moving on to sheet metal, we've got a nice little neon rocket for you with the To the Stars metal door. Followed by the Industry metal door. Terminal metal door. Wizard door, which also has an alt that's kind of purple instead of blue. Then we have this really cool Portal sheet metal door for you. Just love the effect on it. Moving on over here, this Stained Glass metal door. Clang metal door. Legend of the Dragon double door. Hex Garden sheet metal double door, both with transparency and without. As you can see, the transparency is a lot, just like it was on the single door. Then we have the Nuclear Winter sheet metal door. Beautiful Danger sheet metal door. Moving on to our garage doors, we've got Hive Tech Alloy version 2. Power Pulse garage door, which also comes in alternate red and blue. Face Punch garage door, which also comes in alternate white. The Carp Comic door. Then moving on, we have this beautiful Mosaic door for you. It is the, well, simply Mosaic Survivor garage door. Then moving along over here, the Fallen Gladiator garage door. Then we have this really kind of crazy armor locked door, reinforced garage door. It does look quite reinforced. Then we have the Casino garage door by Bobby. The Sci-Fi garage door as our last one here. So let's kill the lights and take a look at our glow. Got some roller glow going on with both of these here. Then if we come over to our wooden doors, you'll see this actually has some little glowing eyes on it. And these are lit up pretty well, including the doggy there. We have our slime and greening rugs. That locker. Then we have our furnaces. Creepy. Very cool looking. Got that little MTL for metal. Love the little glow bugs on this. Still looks amazing. That glow through the camo mesh just looks so cool. We got our boxes. And that does it for this week. Alright, moving on to our tools and weapons for this week. We've got the Thanksgiving turkey upright for you. And yeah, this thing looks all buttered up and juicy, man. Don't accidentally bite into this rock thinking it is a real turkey. That would be a bad mistake for your teeth. Moving on, we have some stone tools for you this week. The Zero Waste Stone Hatchet. And matching stone pick. Complete with little glow bugs there. You ask if they do glow in the dark. And oops, they do. Then moving on, we have a couple different swords for you. First one is going to be the Soul Collector Sword. Has a very kind of spine-like metallic spine thing going on. Some cool adornment. Then moving on to our next one here, it is the Cardboard Sword from Little Ranger's Cardboard Collection. Definitely fits really well in, and of course, just like most of Little Ranger's work, it looks amazing as well. Next up, we have another sword for you, and our last one here is the Purifier of Evil. Has a very kind of machete look to it, quite sharp. Then moving on to almost guns, we've got ourselves a couple crossies for you with the Bird of Luck crossbow. Very beautiful set. We've seen a few pieces make it in from the set, so I wouldn't be surprised if this actually had a chance this week, if Helk's feeling the primitive vibe. Then our next crossie here is going to be the construction level crossbow. So you can see it has many little bubble levels going all throughout it. Aiming down the sides here, you can see them quite well. Has some cool cutouts and some measurements on it. So it has a very clear construction vibe that I think fits with Rust's self-made out of junk kind of thing they have going on. Moving on to our weapons, we've got a single python for you this week, and it is the Sour Candy python. Definitely has a lot of crazy stuff going along with it, kind of a little bit of a casino vibe. It kind of feels like aiming down the sights here, you can see a nice red tip. And there we go for our reload. Next up, we've got some MP5s. First one here is going to be the Redline MP5. Has a very kind of sporty look to it, but also very hand-painted and worn. Aiming down the sights, you do have a red tip and regular MP5 sights going on. Our next MP5 here is part of the Fault set. There are 3 different versions. There's a red, green, and purple. As you can see, this is the green crystal going through. Aiming down the sights here, again, normal sights with a nice red tip. Next MP5 has a very much so cards theme, and I would say the art style is almost kind of like an old American tattoo kind of look to it. You've got the skeleton hand tossing out the cards, very hand-painted look to the rest of the MP5 with nice red line work. You can have spades and hearts and so forth up on the front grip. Aiming down the sights, you do have red rings and a red sight. And there we go for our reload. Moving on to rifles, we have some SARs to start off with, and it's the Pan-SAR, or the Fawn-SAR. So there you go. Yep, really bad at that right there for you. But one or another, it has very kind of white and gunmetal kind of look to it, which I think a lot of people like. Aiming down the sights, you do have that just kind of very worn iron sight. Next SAR is the Memory SAR. Continuation in that nice little set. As you can see, there's lots of Rust-themed kind of stickers. There's scrap, there's a guy giving up, there's the various guns and so forth. The rest of the SAR has a kind of very clean new look to it. Aiming down the sides, you do have a faintly red painted tip, but the most of it there is just kind of a flat black color for you. Moving on, we've got a continuation with the tank armor set with the SAR. As you can see here, it's all rusty as you would expect, has some camo strips and cloth up front. Aiming down the sights here, there's a nice red tip and some red painted back sights. Then we have ourselves the Owl Totem SAR. We did see the AR make it in, so hey, maybe the SAR will have a chance as well. Nice little continuation of a very cool Native American design with a dream catcher and an owl. Aim down the sights, you can see the rest of that dream catcher, a nice kind of brownish tip against the aqua, sprayed just lightly on the back sight there. Then, as we move on to our ARs, we've got the Wooden Craft AR up for you. Nice little continuation in this all wooden gun set. Aiming down the sights, you do have kind of wood versus red versus a little bit of gun metal there. Next up, we have the Raider AR, and man, this thing is just crazy bright. Looks like Raider is melting right there in your front of your face. Maybe you took some acid or something. Has kind of a very clean e-sporties look to it, I would say, for the rest of it. Aiming down the sides, you have nice red versus black for the tips there. Moving on, we've got the Dread Scale AK for you. This comes in two versions, one with and without a stock. As you can see, it has this crazy like dragon just carved right into the side of it. And then you have a dragon eye, like the AK itself maybe is a bit alive. Aiming down the sides, it's kind of just faded paint, a little bit of black flakes on the silvery tips. Moving on, we've got the Seraphi. I love it when you guys give me names like this. It's a pink AK with cool designs and some very light sky blue and white highlights with a very kind of plastic polymer look to the design. There we go. So, as you can see, the sides have blue and pink. And there we are for that reload. Next up, we have the Pop Star AR for you. It has a very kind of anime design, all sorts of cool kind of graffiti-esque artwork all around the character. Very much so bright and shining for people that just love this kind of rainbowy stuff. Aiming down the sides, you have a pink tip against the black and blue there. Then our next one here is going to be this crazy, crazy parrot for you. It is the U-Parrot AR, and once again, I love how they use the beak for the trigger guard and the trigger. Very creative. Then you've got all these other psychedelic colors going all along the whole rest of it. Aiming down the sides, you do have kind of like a shiny silver against a bit of gray, but it's kind of just the same color depending how the light hits it there, to be honest. Then next up, we've got the Brainstorm version 2 and version 1, and I believe this is version 1. Version 2 is more yellow. You can check out, like I said, always down in the description, I have a link to the workshop. Crazy, crazy art. Looks like another acid trip. Aiming down the sights here, you've got like a weird all-seeing eye monster thing, and a bright, 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 bright yellow tip to the AR. Next AR is the Cybercore AR, and this just has a really, really cool coloring. This almost made in my top 10 as well. I feel like a lot of people really like it. It just has a very clean look to it. It looks like it's made out of like carbon fiber and aluminum or tin or titanium or something like that. It's very just clean looking, you know? I'd probably say titanium. Aiming down the sides here, you'd have a blue tip against the black and purple for the sides. Our next AR is the Thornstone. It also comes in two versions, a blue and kind of like a purpley pink. And this has a very kind of like old-fashioned glass, leaded glass look to it, which I think is really cool. Aiming down the sides, you do have a bright red tip and some more of that kind of old-fashioned designs. Then next up, we've got some more crazy art with the traditional AK-47 version 2. It comes in stocked and stockless version. As you can see, it has this traditional American art style for tattoo, and there's a snake coming out of a monster's mouth as a tongue eating an eyeball. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff crazy going on. There's some tentacles, or maybe the snake tail, I'm not sure what it is. Aiming down the sides, there's a spider, and some crusty looking sights, a mix of yellows, reds, and pinks. Next up, we've got another wood AR for you, and this one just looks like it's made out of old wood, and the grips themselves still have the bark on it, which I think looks really nice. They also did that with the mag, which I think is a cool design. Aiming down the sights here, there's a little face made out of nails, and a nice red tip to the sights there for you. Then, last for our rifles, we've got the Blizzard Blaster version 2, which is an LR made to look like the actual, well, grenade launcher, snow blaster, the Blizzard Blaster there. So I love when people take stuff from the game and translate it to something. This version 2 definitely looks way more clean than the original. Maybe it will have a better chance this time around. Aiming down the sights, you do have a red tip against the blue back and front. And there we go for our reload. Last but not least, we do have a rocket launcher, and it's the reinforced fire hydrant. The whole thing looks like a fire hydrant pulled straight up out of the ground. Yes, they are actually super long, connected series of pipes, much deeper in the ground than the part that sticks out. So this just really fits, and I think it's a cool, made out of something found design. Aiming down the sights here, you've got some rusty sights, and a bit of that fire hydrant comes in, and of course, we have to go ahead and reload it. And we've had a pesky wolf running around through our whole video, making noise. I can't believe I missed him. Alright, well, Wolf lives for now. But there it goes, everyone. Sound off down in the comment section below which skins you're hoping will make it in the most this week, and why. Any other kind of feedback you have. It's not for me, I'll try to get it to the right people. Thanks for watching, and stay rusty.